Hi, welcome to my channel. My name's Lizzie. I hope you're doing good, feeling good, and enjoying your day or night whenever you're watching this. It's pretty late for me. I had a very long day. This is everything you need to know about one of your past lives. Sometimes learning about your past lives teaches you about your current life and the cycles you're on, and sometimes it's just for fun. Whatever spirit wants you to know about a past life of yours, they're going to come in and let us know. This is a pickle pile. I have to hold them up one at a time, so vibe to them as best as you can. Pause it if you need to. Pile 1 is the Tesla Model 3. Super cute, right? I'm actually going to give these to my nephew one day when I see him again. Tesla Model 3, Pile 1. I'm trying to show you so there's no glare. That's pretty cool looking, right? Pile number 2 is a Corvette convertible. Oh, sorry, Corvette ZR. Is it I or 1? I don't know anything about cars. I think it's 1 convertible. And it's a new 2020 edition. Convertible. Yes, please. I wish. And pile number 3 is the Jaguar Silver Fox. I don't know why I just heard that. I'll do it one more time for you. Pile 1 is the Tesla. Pile 2 is the Corvette Convertible 2020 edition. And pile 3 is the Jaguar. Pick your pile, go to the description box below, and I'll see you soon. Whatever pile you pick. Alright, pile 1, are you ready? You picked the Tesla. Super cool. Tesla is my favorite inventor. Not the car, obviously. Just saying. I do this every time I hear Tesla. Oh, actually, I'm doing this wrong. We gotta start with these ones. Past life Oracle cards. This is going to tell me the most. And I usually get some precog. What do I think it's going to come out for you? Nun or priest. That card. Celtic and mother. So nun or priest, Celtic and mother. Let's see if that comes out. Ooh, spouse. So you were married. Mother, Celtic, and nun or priest. Male, female, so you were married in a male-female relationship. Ooh, orphan. We'll see where this all plays out. Like they give me a puzzle and I have to put it together for you. I get the most cards from this deck. This one will take the longest. It's okay though. Celtic. A few more. I'll move on. Okay. This is starting to make a little bit more sense to me. Okay, high priest or high priestess. And mother. Oh my god, that's so funny. So that, I don't know if there's a nun card, but I'm going to take this as high priest, high priestess. Do we need any more? 1, 2. So all the ones they put in my head came out. I love it when they do that. Alright, so let's talk about starting where you come from. First of all, we have Atlantis. So you're definitely a starseed soul, which means you've had many lifetimes dating back to Atlantis, which is earlier than ancient Egypt. But then, so this just came out to let you know you've had so many lives. First of all, they're letting you know you've been around the block a few times. But in this life, we have Greco-Roman, Celtic, and communal living. So I feel like you had maybe Celtic parents here, Celtic lineage of some kind. But to me, Celtic always has a hint of slavery to me because my people were slaves to England. So I feel like this is saying you lived in Greco-Roman communal living, but you were a slave or very poor. Okay, so we have orphan and food and hunger. Your parents died when you were pretty much a baby. Because I do feel like you were slaves. This is where I feel like you were taken in by a church, because we have a biblical farm. To me, this is like when the church takes you in, you gotta help them grow the food and feed everybody and take care of everybody. So you worked on a farm. You were taken in by the church as a young child or baby because you were orphaned. Your parents were slaves. You had a lot of trust and faith because they took really good care of you here. Yeah, and it gave you spirituality and religion. You had a lot of phobias, and this time there was many gods. So you had a phobia of upsetting the gods and like getting their wrath. So you're always trying to be on the right side of your power of some sense. You could have been a psychic, a visionary, just somebody very creative, but you were very gifted because you have wisdom and high priestess. So you had some kind of spiritual gift here, which means you probably have spiritual gifts in this life, which makes sense. You're a starseed. Alright, so you learned a lot of lessons in your life growing up as a slave. Taken in the church was a blessing for you. It kind of gave you a better life because you learned how to write in your later life. I feel like you wrote some medical books, like maybe shaman-like stuff, but I'm going to leave that on the table and see where that goes. Then we also have knighthood and wars and battles. So you could have went on to fought for your country or been in war of some sense, or this could be somebody you married. So I'm going to leave those on the table because we haven't had them clarified. But your love life is also important. You were married. Male-female relationship. I think you were female in this life. You were a mother and had a baby. This is important to your life in some sense. So we're going to leave those on the table and we'll see where all that stacks up. Let's talk about, jump to your life purpose oracle cards. See what you did in your life. Since I just messed them up a little. What did you do in your life? I'm going to get the full spread and we'll go from there. Okay, wow. So you were a very gifted, powerful manifester because you have infinite abundance. Whatever you were needing in your life, you were able to manifest it through your gifts. So you were a powerhouse manifester. Then you did something with nutrition. That's where I feel like the health and scribe or writer came in. I feel like you wrote medicine books on how to help people with digestion and how to help people live healthier. You were very into eating very healthy for the time, which was probably ahead of the time. Early shamans, they worked a lot with vegetation, so you could have taught people how to turn plants into medicine. We have justice, so that I feel like this goes with your knighthood and your wars and battles. So you were a fighter for justice. So I feel like something happened in your church, like the church that took you in. I feel like they were attacked or went to war. Like the Catholic Church, so many wars have been fought over. Protestant, same. It could have been anything like two different religions coming to a head and you chose to fight for your church, or your town and village could have been attacked, and this is you avenging it with this justice card. We'll get some more. So you were a avenger for your people. But knighthood could also be early legal as well, because I do feel like you were a female. You could have been a nurse. You could have married a knight. We'll see where this is going. Teaching and freedom. Okay, so not only did you write to educate other people, but you went, wherever you went, you were teaching people how to heal. That's where I feel like you were a nurse. I feel like this is your husband here. With the knighthood, justice, wars and battles. Now, you could be a male in this life, and you were a female in this life. I've seen both lives. A lot of starseeds are both male and female in different lives. It just depends on what you need for that lesson. So, in this version of your life, you were definitely a female. So, in your wars and battles is where you met your spouse. They were a knight, I'm feeling. Wars and battles is where you met. Yeah, you were both fighting for your people. So, he was fighting on the same side as you. This freedom here. Perhaps this knight that you fell in love with helped free your people from oppression. Free you from slavery for your people forever. Your husband or spouse did something important, not only for you, but for your people. This is somebody who was probably very respected. Time to decide. You had to choose. You had to give up your freedom to go and travel and be this shaman to be this person's wife. Like that was your choice. I don't understand why you couldn't do both, but we'll get more. Let's go to my handy dandy cards. Will tell us some more about what went on with your life. Ooh, eating disorders, Doctors Without Borders, and Justice Crusader. Yeah, I do feel like you were some kind of early legal person. But again, referencing, you could even been in like the early Red Cross, nurses of some kind. Eating disorders, I heard bulimia. And back then they didn't know anything about this. This wasn't something was recorded. But I feel like, I don't know if you yourself were bulimic or this is what you wrote about. Could be both. Maybe you learned from your own experience. Doctors Without Borders, yeah. To me, that's like saying you went to places and treated people in very desolate, desperate places. Yeah, you had star quality. I don't know if you can see that. You had that it factor. You were like a little celebrity of your time. See the other side. You were able to see other people's perspective and be able to counsel. Friendship. I feel like you did have a lot of friends. You were easily to make friends wherever you went. People trusted you. You had laser vision and psychic right next to each other. And then personal trainer, dietitian. So yeah, I do feel like you were writing about eating disorders and how probably women of your time were not eating enough or some kind of body image you were working on. But you had laser vision on your whatever project you were doing. You focused solely on that. You were determined. All right. Let's get some more. What was pile one like in this life? You wanted to travel the world, and you did a few times. Yeah. So you were a world traveler. You gave it up to be a mom eventually. Well, you did go around a few times. Maybe that's why you were okay with it. Y'all, because you were very in love with your spouse. Accident prone or klutzy. So you're a little bit of a klutz. You might still be in this one. You had many friends. See how that friendship came out? You had many friends. You were very light. You had killer looks. That star quality. You were very attractive. People lusted after you. You were a catch, pile one. You were trustworthy. People knew they could trust you. You believed in many gods, like I said in that time. There was many gods, and you had those phobias. You didn't want to anger the gods. We have thief here. And you lived through all the wars you fought in. So any war you went through, obviously you lived through it, so you did not die in war. We have thief here. Ooh, I heard maybe you stole someone's husband. Oh no. You and your lover spent long amounts of time apart, but you always were faithful, writing letters to each other as often as you could. That's so cute. And you are a very neat person. I don't know what this thief is about. You lived in a structure, home, or castle. Communal living. So probably a big type of building of some sort. Maybe you married up. You could have married a noble. You could paint, draw, or sculpt. So you're very artistic. You had artistic qualities. Okay, that's too many here. I feel like thief was when you were an orphan or younger. Before you found your religion, you might have been a good pickpocket. No judgment. Yep. You were a slave at some point in your life. You were in the church. Yeah, you were taken in by the church. So you were a slave when you were born. My nose is itching. This is going to be a good one. You were born into slavery. Your parents were slaves. Your parents unfortunately passed away. You were taken in by a church. I love how they back it all up. Anything else we need to know? Okay. You were a tough cookie. You lived during World War I. You lived during World War II. So I feel like they're just saying wars in general. You've been in a lot of them over many lifetimes, starting in ancient Atlantis until all the way until. So you were probably in World War I, died, reincarnated, came back, fought in World War II. That's crazy. I don't get many people that were in both wars. Like they said, you've been around the block a few times, that's all right. It's how your soul evolves and grows. All right, let's talk about your personality. What were you like as a person, or how did other people view you? This is all personality. Fox in reverse. You weren't very good at being shady. I don't feel like you realized how beautiful you really were. Ooh, shark. And zebra and moth. To me, this shark is like the laser vision. If, like, you were fighting for a cause, I think you were a good spy, to be honest with you. You saw people for who they were. You made movements that couldn't be seen. Like, if there was, like, some evil dictator, you would be, like, the one circling them to try to take them down a little bit. So I feel like before you married and settled down and had a baby, you were a bit of a badass for a female of your time. And yay, I love strong women. You were unique. You owned your body. You were confident. Although I don't feel like you relied on your looks or even realized how good looking you were confident always in your skin. I don't feel like you were egotistical or selfish. You're just naturally confident. Moth, you went through a lot of dark, hard times in your life and transformed. People saw you as a survivor. Somebody who could get through. Somebody that would protect them. People envied that zebra confidence. Yeah, there was something royal and noble about you. Like, they said you had that star quality. Like, who is that person? That must be somebody of importance. You had that elegance about you, that grace, that dignity, humbleness. Otter, you were fun and playful. That's why you had so many good friends. People really liked you and liked your personality. You probably had a good sense of humor, a catchy laugh. Let's see how the people who worked with you felt or lived with you. How did they see you? People who worked with you or lived with you. Alright, so we have Heart Guardian. You wore your heart on your sleeve. You had a big heart. You were a lover. You were a light. With the summer, you brought the light wherever you went. Definitely a light worker of some kind. There's just an innocence about you, a sweetness, a purity. Even for that time that was rare. Star Ancestor. They thought you were very, like, in this time they were very tapped into many different gods. They talked to the stars and, like, they were a lot more open and to stuff than we are. They saw you as somebody who could communicate well, that the gods talked to and favored. They might even thought you were a demigod for the times. Water Guardian. You were very connected to your emotions, but you're also very good at controlling them and explaining it. Like, you could see the other side and you could explain it. You're a good interpreter of how people were feeling. Medicine Mother. Yeah, you're definitely female. They're confirming that you were a shaman, a healer of some sense. You came into areas that were struggling with people who were really struggling, and you stayed and helped. You could see the higher perspective. It's like you knew what to do before anyone else, or it's like you were tipped off on what was coming. Somebody who was a nomad, a traveler. You didn't stick in one place too long until you got married. Direction Guardian. You were somebody that they looked to for guidance on their life. Like, if they needed money advice, spiritual advice, life advice, you would be somebody that they would go to. So, let's get some more details about your life. I'll get a full spread. This is the Enchanted Map. Before that, it was Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards. And before that was my Animal Spirit Tarot. Oh, one more. Okay, I guess we're taking two more. Alright, so you were rescued by the church, but you also turned around and rescued other people in your life. You chased away the goblins. You were a justice crusader. All the people that were oppressive or seeked destruction and people's pain and misery, you were right there to fight with it, where you could fight. Wherever you were, as this little nomad, where you would fight a tyrant, be involved in the war effort. You helped people who were really grieving and struggling, dying on their deathbed. Been like this You're working with people that have been through war-torn countries. Like, they're just getting invaded. They're starving. They need medical attention. You're coming to people at their worst. You're like an angel to them. Yeah, unexpected visitors. You are we're the help they hoped would come but never expected. They didn't expect anyone like you to come where they were. You just kind of popped up and said, "Hi, let me help you." But I do feel like also in the middle of the night, wherever you were, people would come to get you because you were a doctor. So if somebody needed medical attention, you would have that at 2 in the morning. Somebody's in labor. Oh my God, somebody needs you. As doctors do, you know. You're very committed to your spouse. This was a true love. Changed your whole life. I do feel like you were met or married at 36. They're pointing that out. Yeah, your lover was your lucky charm. And you were viewed by a lucky charm because you were a medicine person. People had hope. You came in the room and they're like, "Oh my God, we're going to be okay. We're going to survive it because so-and-so is here." Wishing well. Yeah, you were a powerful manifester. You could make your own wishes come true by pulling it magnetically to you. Flying, to me, this is you getting around the world a lot. Like, obviously, planes weren't invented, but I do feel like you did travel as far as you could a few times. Flying, to me, also, I feel like you were connected to spirit. Deep freeze. I do feel like your work might have made you cold at times. Because when you see a lot of war and a lot of destruction and a lot of people suffering, overall you become numb to it. And I do feel like you suffered from some kind of PTSD in your life because you saw a lot of hard stuff. Let's talk about your love life, family life, and we'll close it out. What was your home life with your kids and your spouse and your family? Full spread on this. Okay, so you had great abundance with your lover. Not only were you madly in love with each other and had that love relationship that people envied, but you did very well. You started off very meager and poor, but you married up for sure. You had hope that because you guys loved each other so much and you were such a support system, you had so much hope that you guys could do the things you set out to do. I feel like you were both crusaders, and you also together as a team gave other people hope. Intention. Your intentions were both to help. Like, I feel like you were the shaman, healer, nurse, and your husband was like a soldier, a part of the security or something. So wherever you traveled, your husband's job was to keep you safe and the people safe so that you could heal them and they could recover. And you were both had set intentions on that was the life you were going to lead together. You were going to be missionaries that come and give people food when they're starving, medical attention, help them build up their communities again, and teach people how to love and not fight so much. You were a powerhouse couple, very strong relationship. You were like best friends. You had that passion. You were the couple everybody strived to be, which is super sweet. You were the nurturer of the family. You were definitely the mommy, cuddle when the kids were sick, but you also took care of your husband and you took care of other people. Hiccups. You were very centered, very grounded, very calm couple. People, you were an inspiring couple. Yeah, this was a twin flame. With this union, you definitely found and were with your twin flame. And the two of you decided how you were going to live your life in your own standards. You didn't follow the times. You didn't follow protocol. You kind of did your own thing. You loved each other. You found a way I think even after you had a baby and you settled down, you didn't travel as much, but I do feel like when your baby was older and it was safer too, you were right back at it, being a missionary, and your children probably worked with you too. So for a short time, you took a break to be a mommy, which I don't blame you. It seems like you had an amazing life, Pile 1, and I hope you enjoyed this. I will see you all next time. Please give this a like if you want more of these readings, if it resonated, or you just want to help support my channel. I appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button as well if you're feeling generous. Thanks, guys. See you next time. Hey, Pile 2, you picked the Corvette Convertible. Super cute. I like it. Also, the drink I'm promoting this week, I don't get paid for it, but I am on a diet and I always look for interesting new things to drink that are good because we get sick of water. But anyway, this is made by Powerade. It has 0 sugar. It's a sports drink. I'm drinking the grape drink. I like this one. I like the fruit punch, and I think it's like berry blue. I like the orange. It doesn't taste like the aspartame weird fake sugar or anything like that. I get a headache from the fake sugars, but this is 0 sugar. It has no kind of sweeteners in it it has sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium. Helps replenish 4 electrolytes lost when you sweat. So I chug these after workouts. Advanced electrolyte system. So this is basically like yummy Pedialyte. It does have high sodium though, so if you have to watch your sodium, this has 150 milligrams. That was the only thing that was like no sugars, nothing bad. I don't see anything like fake. Yeah, no calories. I like this. As you can see, it's almost gone. I think I drank the fruit punch one earlier. I have to go get more, but yeah. Dieting, these Powerade 0 sugars are really good. I haven't found a flavor that I don't like. And it's not like that weird, like sometimes when you get like Crystal Light or whatever, it's gross. But anyway, let's get into your reading. This tells me the most. I draw the most from this past life oracle cards. But I like to get some precog going on. So I'm going to pick 3 cards that Spirit tells me, and they may or may not come out in this reading. I heard karmic relationships, love life, High Priestess. So we'll see if any of those come out. What was it? High Priestess or High Priest, love life, and karmic relationships. Health. Health was up. My throat just gurgled. Maybe that has something to do with, as soon as the health card, my throat was like, what's happening, Spirit? Yep. A little bit like pile 1. I got unrequited love. I can hear people laughing. Where's this sound going? It's like a big puzzle. Ooh. Need some clarity. Spirit. Yeah, exactly like pile 1 in some senses. Getting heavy in here. It was one of them. What were the other 2? Oh, well, that makes sense. Please clarify these last 2 things so we can get moving. Yeah. Boy. Sad. Almost done, guys. Oh, spouse foul. Sorry, we're married. Wanted to pop, but I'm going to put it in. Alright. So I only got one of the 3 so far, unless they come out in other ways. This one is a bit confusing. Let me just straighten it out a little bit. Okay. Let's start with your parents. They were orphaned you as a young child. You're very close to your father. Your father was a knight, very well known. Died in battle. I do feel like it was just you and your mom for a little bit, but your mom, we have authority figures and imprisonment or slavery. Your mom was persecuted for her beliefs. She was a high priestess. Over here with this Native American medicine man or woman, wisdom and health. So your mother was a healer, and it went against some kind of church. And the church took your mom, arrested her, and basically murdered her because she wasn't following the ways they felt were appropriate for religion. And back then they killed people for that, unfortunately. So where you were from, definitely this is talking about biblical times. You lived in communal living. We have Greco-Roman times. We also have Celtic, just like Pile 1. Pile 1 might have been your life as well. Pile 1 referenced that they started all the way back in Atlantis and had several lifetimes, and I was just telling about one. This is also saying you are also a star seed, so maybe these piles are all about you because you've lived so many lives, so you might want to check out Pile 1 because this is almost identical. Celtic to me is about slavery in this sense. Your parents were some kind of slaves to a church or a belief system that didn't allow them to be themselves, at least your mother. And I feel like your father was forced to fight as men were in that time. Because of what happened to your mother, you had phobias of your spiritual beliefs, and you kind of went against the grain and what your mother stood for. You were taken in by the church very young, so You became a monk or nun. You took vows. You had very big trust and faith in the gods. At this time, there was more than one god. So you had gods for everything. You were some kind of scribe or writer of religious books and helping people get forgiveness from the gods when they were getting their wrath. You did move around a lot because you have transportation, but trains weren't invented yet, so you definitely traveled by ship because that was the only way other than horseback or foot. Then we have down here spouse, unrequited love, which I'm going to call a karmic relationship. There was no love between you. It was a male-female relationship. I feel like this was an arranged marriage, especially by the church. I feel like your husband or spouse or wife, because I'm not sure if you're female yet or male. Pile 1 was female. But I'm not getting a specific gender just yet. Whoever you married was involved in the arts. They could have put on plays, wrote books. Could have been an early artist. Let's talk about what you did for work in your life. Hello. School, oracle cards. You're on the right path. Yoga, build. Okay, so, yeah, again with that author, you're definitely a writer. Okay, so, at some point you did break away from the church and the vows you took because you went to a new school and you learned a spiritual path, early fortune telling, something along the lines of what your mother probably believed in. Feeling like you're on the right path now. I do feel like once you got a little older, you realized the church wasn't for you. You had spiritual gifts. You stopped running from them and you started to face them. So once you embraced your psychic abilities and your healing abilities, you're like, this is who I am and who I'm made to be. I feel like you, growing up as a child, never felt like you fit in and you were looking for your place, and it wasn't until you were older that you found that. You probably practiced some kind of early yoga breathing activities, a lot to do with health and relaxation. You were a builder of a new time, a new way of thinking, of feeling. Love and light, you were definitely a light worker, and you wrote books about your beliefs. Not only did you once write about the church beliefs, you later wrote books about what you believed and your mother believed in and what ultimately she lost her life for. So let's get some more details about you. For pile 2, you were a very peaceful person. You weren't like a pot stirrer. You were a peacemaker. Anger management, I do feel like you helped people by being that peacekeeper. In those times, a lot of people were angry for a lot of good reasons, especially if you came from slavery. I have a fuzz on my sweater. So I do feel like you helped people check that anger and do better in themselves. Oh, you were a medium, confirming it. God damn it, Fuzzy, go away. It's like static links. So yeah, I feel like your mom was a medium because then you have sensitivity as well. You got your gifts from her. Yeah, the peacemaker. You came in when people were angry and you tried to bring them together. Yep, you were an empath. Definitely gifted. Definitely had spiritual abilities. Let's get some more about your life. Oh, you were persecuted as well. Unfortunately, you were hung. You or your spouse had an affair. Oh, that's why you died. The person you married, you didn't have love for. I kind of feel like you lost your life because you fell in love with someone else. Let's see. Again with the knight, your father definitely confirming was a knight as well. You had fear of rejection. I feel like whoever the spouses you married was probably like a narcissist and kind of beat out the love you had for yourself and the light you had. Because you're very sensitive to how people think and feel and react in this life. So I do feel like whoever you married was a very nasty person. They didn't want you, but they didn't want anyone else to have you either. You were royalty or had very important work. You had great responsibilities. So you could have been royalty of some sense. I don't feel like you're royalty. I feel like you had important work as far as being the one that comes into a hostile environment and making peace. You had expensive taste and standards, and you had money. You looked and smelled the best, ate the best, lived in the best. You lived very comfortable. Okay, so I feel like because you came from very little and then you did marry up, I feel like the person you married, although it wasn't for love, it was for money. And so you had a very comfortable life. Even though you didn't have love, you had things, all the things that you dreamt of, except for love. I don't feel like you were a vain person, though. I do feel like your spouse was, to be honest. You were a workaholic. You were very dedicated to your craft. No contact. Oh, that's from a different deck. Sorry. You traveled a lot. So you were kind of a nomad. You traveled for your work. You were a revolutionist. You traveled very far to have a life with your spouse. You left everything behind, and it was hard, but you succeeded. So when you married, you had to move. You lived during the Civil War. So, like pile one, because you've had many lives, I feel like wars are recurring for you. You might have been in every war. It's just some people, when wars come, it's reincarnated souls doing the same job that they did to learn a new cycle and to change the world with it. It's crazy how it all works, but let's get some more details about you. You wanted to travel the world, and you did a few times. That came out in pile one. Crushing hard. You were revered. So a lot of people liked you. A lot of people had crushes on you. You're probably a good-looking person, but you were well known and adored by people of your time. So you were revered. Maybe you married royalty and became royalty. You were famous for something. Maybe it was all those books you wrote. You married older. So you married when you were older, when you weren't a young bride. And you did die old even though you were hung. So you had a long life. We have you were burned at the stake. I feel like you were hung might have been your mom. Or your mom could have been burned at the stake. You're both persecuted for basically the same thing. You escaped a worker prisoner camp and took refuge in hiding or in neutral countries. You survived wars, conflicts against your people, but many others died, including your family. Oh, maybe you were royalty and you snuck out and escaped and hid in other countries. That could be as well. You have a tomb or pyramid dedicated to you. So you were a pharaoh. Makes sense for ancient times or even biblical times. You got out of a bad and rough marriage in a time most didn't. You married again, and it was a very happy relationship. So you did get out of that nasty marriage, but I do feel like your husband had something to do with your persecution, your first husband, because they were, like I said, they didn't want anyone to have you. They wanted you all to themselves, and you probably were happy, and they couldn't stand it. All right, so let's talk about your personality. How did people in your life see you? What was your personality like? Ooh, we got earthworm. So people felt your impact. They felt you were important. It's like, it's a good example. Like if Gandhi came to your town, everybody would want to hug and shake their hand. Like you had that star quality, that big impact. They do feel like you were life-changing. Oyster, there's no one like you. You were unique. You were the pearl inside the oyster. Unlike anyone, no one saw anyone like you ever before. No one could forget you. Beaver, you were a hard worker, addicted to work. Lamb, you weren't a predator. You were somebody who was very sweet and loving, but you would get that sting out when it came to like other people. To me, this also, I feel like you carried a lot on your back and had to move very sneakily, which makes sense if you escaped to neutral countries. You had to hurdle over a lot of adversity. People saw that you as somebody who could climb any mountain, could adapt to anything. They definitely felt you were spiritual and had a worldly wisdom about you. Something mystical even. Fire ants. You could make people uncomfortable when you wanted things to change, but you also got people worked up in a sexual way. You were a very good-looking person. Still not quite getting a gender one way or the other. Maybe they don't want you to know that. Let's talk about how the people who worked with you or your family, how they saw you and felt about you. This is like inner circle. Earth Mother, good mother, nurturing, loving. So I do feel like maybe you were female because you have Earth Mother. Warrior, strong, determined, fighter, powerful, leader. You were revered. People thought you protected them. Yeah, you were a sun to them, a bringer of light. You made people happy. You brought happiness. They were happy to see you. Snake, shed the old skin. You were a bringer of change. You changed a lot in your life. You were a mover and a shaker, and these people in your life, your inner circle, saw you as somebody who was probably maybe like an alien before their time, came to this earth to teach people, like, you're here to make an impactful change. Stargazer, they definitely saw you as somebody who could communicate with spirit. Druid. But you also had that otherworldly wisdom, that calm, savvy advice when you need it, or like, it's like you lived 20 lifetimes and knew the answers, and you just had that calm wisdom in a crisis. Magic Guardian. They definitely saw you as somebody who had some kind of magic, that if they crossed you, the gods would be very angry. Spring. You were very fertile. You probably had a lot of children. Drum. You were a visionary. They definitely saw you as somebody who would lead them into the future. And you most likely did. Alright, so let's get the enchanted map. Get some more details about your life. We'll get a full spread. Then we'll close it about your love life and family life. Almost done. Like I said, this is everything you need to know about your past life. No details left unturned. Alright, so Dragon's Lair. You had to hide. Especially if you were royalty and your country fell and you escaped to other countries, you couldn't let other people know who you were. So you were very protective of yourself. You also lost a lot to escape, and you had a lot to make up for. You wanted to restore your country and your people. Yeah, you had gifts. You were a powerhouse. Legendary. Yeah, sacred pool. You could connect to spirit. You were probably a medium. Into the unknown. You were somebody who didn't know the outcome, but you knew you were going to change it, and you weren't leaving until it was done. You went in blind, and that didn't bother you. The uncomfortable didn't bother you, which was rather unique. Listening, you were a good listener. You listened to the needs of your people and the needs of the world, and you paid very close attention to not just the upper elite like you, but the very lowly slave. Like, you actually cared. You listened to their needs, and you were, I feel like, a fighter to end slavery and to treat people better. Protecting treasure. Yeah, exactly. You're protecting your lineage, your family, your people. If you lived, they had a chance to have a better future, basically. But you were a little bit cold. You didn't trust. Field of dreams stuck in the mud. You had all these dreams, but I feel like a lot of your life, you were trying to get out of sticky situations, and you had all these dreams and what you wanted to do, but sometimes you felt like life kept you down. Like, this was going a mile a minute, but you could only go this fast. So I feel like you were very ambitious and a little bit impatient when it came to work and projects. All right, so let's talk about your love life, how you were as a family. Let's talk a little bit more about this love life. Love life, family. Got listening again. Okay, so you had to make a choice. You left that rotten lover. The choice was, I want real love and not this psycho, basically. You found a connection that felt like something very spiritual, like you were soulmates, and you were celebrating that. You were happy with the choice that you made. You released that nasty lover and that karmic hold they had over you. You had intuition that this was, with the listening, you listened to Spirit. Spirit helped you make that choice about your love life to leave. You're very centered and balanced. But then we have expression here. Talk to me about this expression, because I feel like this is connected to your death. So I'm going to flip that. Faith, yes. You were so expressive on how happy you were, and that faith had brought you to your real love, that the one you left couldn't live with that, couldn't let that go. How you were so happy, and that you were writing all these books, and you were spiritually doing well, and you left this person. And this person is a narcissist, very vain. But I also feel like they are the ones that influenced your persecution. Probably new people in the church or whoever didn't agree with your beliefs. But yeah, that's all I'm getting on your life. It was very interesting. I hope you liked it. If you want more like this in the future, if you want to hear more about your past lives, please smash the like button below. If you're feeling generous, please hit the subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you next time, Pile 2. Bye! Hey there, Pile 3. You picked the Jaguar. Super cute. Put that over there so I don't lose it. Alright, so I always start with the past life oracle cards. They tell me the most about your past life. And I like to get a little precognitive activity going. And I ask Spirit for 3 cards that may or may not come out, or may not be important to your reading. So let's vibe. Spirituality and religion, communal living, and vows. Okay. Vows, communal living, and what did I say the other one was? Wait. What was it? Spirit. Guys, it's 11:10 at night, and it's been a long day. So I have vows. I'm just going to scratch it, because if I don't remember that, it's a sign for me. I always remember. Let me shuffle and split this, and we'll start over. I don't believe in coinkydinks. Alright. Alright, Spirit. High Priest, Priestess, Vows, and Communal Living. Was that what I said the first time? Probably. Who fuck knows? I'm not going to rewind it. Communal Living, Vows, Love Life. That was supposed to come out in pile 2. Haven't seen that card in a while. Vows. That was one of them, right? High Priest, High Priestess. What was the other one? Communal Living. Oh, damn. Yeah. I was a little sad I didn't get all of them last pile, but they all came out in this pile. Alright. Let me just... Okay. So, I feel like all 3 of these piles is talking about one soul. So I don't know why this is, but you might want to watch all of them. They all might resonate because pile 1 came out with Atlantis for me. And this was telling me that they were a starseed and that they had lived many, many lives dating back to Atlantis. And so pile 2, Galactic, came out to tell me that they were also a starseed and had many lives. And in this one, both of them came out. So this might be a recognition that this is all of you, or like this are all of your lives, or you're just all similar. I'm just talking to the starseed group who has lived dating back to Atlantis. But in this life, biblical times, communal living, probably somewhere in Ireland or Scotland, and then you also lived on a farm. But we have ships. So I'm leaving this communal living on the board and ships because I feel like you started in like Ireland, Scotland, Wales area on a farm and later ended up in communal living and traveled there by a ship. So I'm going to take farm and Celtic off because that's where you started from. And I'm going to take biblical times off because we know it's ancient. So, alright, so we'll leave communal and ships. You took some kind of vows. You were a healer of some kind with this medicine woman or man. You had otherworldly wisdom from the angels. Angels would tell you how to treat people and help people. You communicated directly with angels. You were probably a psychic medium of some sense and also a shaman. So we have someone in your life. This could be you or it could be someone in your family. I feel like it was you. Pile 2 was also persecuted. You were a high priestess, very gifted, and in the end you were enslaved and persecuted for your beliefs, but we'll see if they clarify. I'm going to leave that on the board. Your love life is also significant here. You had a male-female relationship, but it was unrequited. Either you didn't love them back or they didn't love you. It could have been a arranged marriage, which is very common. Just because you didn't love each other in the beginning doesn't mean you didn't ever. You just basically, in those times, you married a stranger. Let's see what you did in your life with the Life Purpose Oracle. Okay, so you were a writer, a scribe of some kind. You wrote about your beliefs and how to heal and how you communicated with angels. You wanted to help other psychic mediums. Ooh, yeah, oracle cards. You were definitely writing about early fortune telling, early communicating with spirit, getting advice, trying to help other people like I'm doing today. You had many options because you, with this body work, you were a healer of many different things, but all connected to people's body. Mind, body, soul healing. The whole package. I don't feel like you just worked in one field. Yeah, you creatively expressed how to help other people. Not only did you just write information books, but you wrote it in an entertaining way that would get people into it and connected, which was very uncommon in those days. Let's get some more details about your life. You were a survivor of some kind in your life. You had great loyalty. You had grace and elegance. You had a lot of self-love and self-respect. And you worked with mental health. So there you have it. You were helping other people with their mental health. I feel like you survived a lot of things in your life due to mental health, which helped you turn around and help other people. Let's get some more details about your life. Ooh, you were in a secret society. Ooh, oh, we have secretly LGBTQ lifestyle. That's the secret society you were in, my friend. That's why you were in an unrequited relationship. It was a male-female relationship, and whether you were a male or female, you either wanted male-male, female-female, but in those times it wasn't accepted, so you had to do this on the DL. You were secretly gay or lesbian. Good for you. Fight against the machine. You escaped from a place, tyrant, slavery, or prison. Oh shit, maybe you did survive on the attempt of being persecuted. Went into debt or was poor as an adult. You were murdered and it was unsolved. Okay, so you were persecuted and nobody ever found out who did it or why. But I do feel like it was connected to you being in the secret LGBTQ community. Maybe someone found out your secret, and there's a lot of hate crimes in history, unfortunately. Those fucking bastards, right? Sorry that happened to you. I know you're alive again, but still, that's terrible. Alright, let's get some more. Oh, yeah, you were murdered again. Grumpy, serious nature, not much of a talker. I do feel like you became jaded in your life. For something here. Maybe it's because you just got angry that you had to hide who you were. And it made you a little bit bitter in the end. You were spiritually gifted. Basically had spiritual gifts. You were shorter than most people. Had a passionate affair, and the person lost their life for it. Oh, that's why you were a grumpy, serious nature. They killed your lover. Not only did they kill you, but they killed your lover. I feel like you had to watch it. You were a risk taker by being in that secret society. You worked in medicine and wanted to save lives. So yeah, you were definitely a shaman of some kind. You had a stain on your name, but you were able to bring honor back to it and set a positive example in your time. People respected and looked up to you. You were very well known. You chose love over money and success and ended up more successful and rich than you could ever imagine. Okay, so they're taking me down a different road here. So it's like you kind of went to ruin. You lost a lover that was killed. I feel like you probably, I don't know if they had gambling back then, but you pissed away your money because you were miserable. But I think love came back into your life and you were willing to risk it all again. Unfortunately, I think that time you lost your life for it over, the other lover. That's sad. Let's talk about your personality. How other people viewed you. What were you like? Elephant, you didn't forget anything. You had a great memory. Raccoon, you were very sneaky with that secret society and that secret lifestyle. You balanced the two worlds well. Yeah, shark, you did things in a very sneaky way because you felt you had to. And I feel like you felt a lot of people were out to get you. Tiger, though, you had some kind of regal, royal elegance about you. You could have been a celebrity of your time. Then you have cheetah. You moved fast. You didn't think about things too long. You're very spontaneous. Cobra, but you had a very cosmic spiritual gift. And people recognized that there was some kind of power about you. You were a lone wolf. People recognized that you like to kind of march to the beat of your own drum, but you were very protective of the people that you love. Let's see how the people who worked with you saw you or felt about you. This is like inner circle. Ooh, spirit box. You could be crafty, clever, probably somebody who's good at getting out of trouble. You trusted your spiritual gifts. Mirror guardian. It's like you could see the truth in people. You could see right through them. You're good at reading people's character, seeing through the bullshit, calling people on their bullshit. You were a great teacher, especially about medicine and your shamanism and your adversity that you've overcome. I heard grieving, so you're probably some kind of grief counselor as well. Drum, dream and journey. Those war drums are always ringing. It's like you always had somebody to fight, but I do feel like you were a happy person. People were happy around you. You like to laugh, and although you were very serious about your mission in life, you were also serious about having fun. You were a good party thrower. You enjoyed having fun and letting loose. You made people very happy. Arrow. You were very protective of your energy and protective of other people's energy. You protected your family. And wanted a very peaceful nature, as peaceful as it could be in the time. Let's get some more details about your life, and we'll close it up with details about your love life after this. Okay, so You believed that the world was wide open. You were a nomad. You didn't stick around one place too long. You believed in anything. You had that childlike wonder. Making a choice and unexpected visitors. You had to choose between those two lifestyles, and ultimately I do feel like you stopped pretending and got out of a relationship and fully embraced that secret society. The unexpected visitors were the people who found out about it and killed your first lover and then you, because they said you were persecuted, and also that you had a lover that was. When we have magic prayer and storm fields, so people were in a turbulent place and they were praying for help. They were going through it. In comes you, coming to life as the light worker. You were sent by Spirit in turbulent times to help people who were praying for help. You were a lucky charm. People thought you were a savior. But you worked alone and you moved alone. You liked the nomad style. You liked keeping it low-key because it was easier to have that secret society if you could just pass and mingle without anybody really noticing you. Let's talk about your love life. Choice came out again. So yeah, you had to choose between that secret society and what you really wanted as a person and what society told you was right. So you made a choice, and you took great thought in this. You were very scared, but at the end of the day, I think you were brave, and you chose what you really wanted to be your authentic self. And in those private, secret societies or places where you could go and be yourself was your sanctuary. It was the only time you really felt free. But you did have a lot of faith. You were connected to Spirit. You knew Spirit accepted you for who you were because you had that otherworldly wisdom. That just because the people of the world doesn't accept it doesn't mean that they, you had that acceptance like this isn't wrong, but it's just wrong in the 3D in this time. You had a lot of dreams about the future and how open and accepted that would be, which gave you that sense of adventure to keep going on. Also, I feel like you got signs to move on when trouble was coming. You outran trouble a lot. But in the end, ultimately, unfortunately, it caught up to you in a very yucky way. And I'm sorry that I have to deliver that news, but you're alive again. Good news for that. Alright, if you like this reading, if you want more of these in the future, hit the like button below. Hit the subscribe button if you're feeling generous. Thank you for your time. I will see you all next time. Bye, guys.